I got that animal ambition. I got that animal ambition. I got that.
Hey y'all, Smoak what's good? In this video, we're gonna be looking at 10 biggest WWE title downgrade in history by WrestleMania. I assume they're gonna go by the championship designs. To be honest, I don't like the United States Championship now. As you get older, you just like the things how it used to be from years ago. It's just how it be. The United States Championship, it looked big and I don't know, it just looked funny to me. It looked more plastic than anything. Like I like how it was back in like 2008 to 2014, the design. Matter of fact, date back to like at least 2004. That was a beautiful design for the US title belt. Undisputed WWE Championship design, yo, that was wonderful. That, to me, that had to be like one of my favorite designs ever. It was too nice. The one they used in 2004. The World Heavyweight Championship, the big gold belt, beautiful. The one they used in WCW and WWE, like prior to 2011, it looked nice. Afterwards, you see like the red jewels surrounding the plates. I'm like, what is it? Like, to me, it looked more noticeable than it did before. I don't know if they added it or what. It just looked, I don't know, to me it looked funny. At that point, I didn't like it. And then eventually, like 2011, 12, the back of the strap was all red. And I was like, So, yeah, let's start the video.
When WWE introduces a new version of an established title, the new title design should have a distinct purpose.
I don't like that
The new
belt
design
either,
should
bro.
stand out, but it should also enhance the established title by respecting the past yet embracing the future. Unfortunately, over the years, WWE has been heavily criticized when it comes to their title makeovers, as some of the designs have been less than flattering and lead to fans wanting to see the old design make a dramatic return. Join us now as WrestleMania looks at 10 of the biggest WWE title downgrades.
The IC title from
Be sure to subscribe and hit that
2010-9,
notification
before
bell
it
for
got
daily
changed to
wrestling
the
videos,
classic
and
with the
follow us
white
on
strap.
Facebook
That was
for
beautiful
exclusive
too.
lists. Also check out our new website, WrestleMania.com. Number 10, ECW title. The original ECW title was used on WWE programming when the company relaunched ECW in 2006.
That's a
This
beautiful
was the
belt.
right move, as the title is a perfect representation of what ECW is.
I don't know how long they had that the brown strap in the back. I just now realized that. And I watched the first ECW too. They must have changed it like as soon like when ECW started to change, like probably like late 2006, 2007.
And the title certainly had its fans. Sadly, a few years into the relaunch of ECW, the WWE version of ECW had completely lost its way, and it was nowhere near what made ECW so popular.
No.
WWE knew that the ECW title represented the old era, so they made the call to introduce a brand new version of the ECW title. On the July 22nd, 2008 edition of ECW, Teddy Long presented Mark Henry with the new title design.
That belt, it looks okay. It was just, you know, especially for a show called ECW, because ECW wasn't bad. It just wasn't ECW. You know, like other people said it too. It was just the name that made it look bad. Like, he's right about one thing. That belt, it represented WWE ECW. Because the one before that, you already know. Because it looked much similar to back in the day. And it was a beautiful belt. This belt, I swear they had, like, people in the back tell wrestlers how beautiful that belt is. Like, on commentary or whatever. And I'm just like, bro, come on, be for real.
The design featured a large black leather strap with a silver centerpiece. And the obvious issue with the title is the fact that it's silver as opposed to gold. This was further evidence that WWE didn't value the ECW brand, and fans saw the silver design as yet another spit in the face to ECW faithfuls.
Facts.
Number 9, tag team titles.
Ugh.
The WWE up until
You
the
see?
2010s
Those are nice.
seemed to have a great understanding of what design to go with for the tag titles. However, in 2010, WWE ditched the two respective tag title designs that had been with the company since the Ruthless Aggression era. WWE would have Bret Hart present the Hart Dynasty with the new titles, which were belts with black leather and a copper centerpiece. These title designs were instantly met with negative reviews because it was so unimaginative and lifeless. It was such a terrible design, and even the individual who made the belts, Dave Millican, was fully aware that the fans would hate it. Speaking on the Pancakes and Power Slams podcast,
Again, it looked alright. It was just up to par. I didn't know people. I didn't know fans hated it like that. I was like, wow.
He stated, "I begged them, please let me make them nickel, let me make them gold, let me make them silver and gold. Just don't make me do copper." And it just came down from the top that copper is what they wanted. I think in particular, Stephanie McMahon really just wanted to do something different. Yeah, different doesn't always mean better.
For
Number
real.
8, Raw Tag Titles. The WWE would stick with the dreaded copper design for the next 6 years, and that was
Yeah.
until reports surfaced that they were set to debut new tag titles on Raw. Sheamus and Cesaro were getting set to be presented with the new titles, and fans on social media were urging WWE to give at least some thought into how the new titles were going to look. In late 2016, they finally revealed the new titles, and they were presented in a lackluster backstage segment. The copper center and side pieces were now silver, which was a great decision, but the strap was now red to represent Monday Night Raw. The design was unbelievably lazy, and must have taken WWE about 30 seconds to come up with. The main reason that they introduced a new tag
30
design
seconds.
was to match SmackDown's version of the tag titles, as the version for SmackDown was the exact same, just with a blue strap to represent SmackDown Live. Number 7, NXT title. Due to WWE giving NXT a soft relaunch in 2021, they decided to give the NXT title a slight makeover. The gold centerpiece would now have various colors filtered into it, and although it was a slight tweak on a popular design, it was completely pointless. Whilst the design wasn't too noticeable, when the TV lights hit the title at the right angle, the changes to the design became apparent. And to say that it didn't look great on live TV would be an understatement.
Yo, I watched NXT for a while now. Like when I got back into wrestling in 21, I watched like NXT on a weekly basis. I did not notice that about the NXT title, bro. On God, that's how barely noticeable it was, or is.
One of the reasons why fans hated the new design was that it felt like WWE were changing everything that made NXT different, and there seemed to be no rational reason to modify the top title on the brand in such an unflattering manner. Number 6, the Cruiserweight
That's
title.
wild.
The WWE couldn't have produced a better design for the Cruiserweight title in the early 2000s. The title delivered the perfect balance of honoring the WCW version of the Cruiserweight title, whilst representing
guess,
the
I mean,
WWE branding and style
it
of
looks
titles that
okay.
were common during the respective time. When they revamped the Cruiserweight division in 2016, there was a push from fans to see the title design return, or at the very least modify it for a modern audience.
Hell no.
Unfortunately, WWE didn't want to honor the design in any way, and their design choice wasn't what fans had in mind. The new version of the title would have a hideous purple strap which was supposed to represent the branding of 205 Live, and the center and side pieces would be silver, and of course WWE plastered a big WWE logo in the center. It was underwhelming, and it could certainly be argued that the title looked like a toy that was made by Mattel. Number 5, the Women's
Damn.
Divas title.
Uh-oh.
Between 2008 to 2010, WWE would have 2 women's titles on the show, the Divas title and the Women's title. When the two were unified in 2010, fans hoped that the classic women's title would be used, as that version of the title
That's
had
a nice
classy
looking belt.
appearance, and the consensus on the Divas
That,
title
not
design
so
wasn't
much.
the best. They made the daring move to completely abandon the women's title design, and the Divas title would now be the primary women's title in the division. Whilst not a makeover as such, WWE believing that the butterfly design of the Divas title was
Like that belt was too girly, and I could see why. WWE is a PG product. Kids.
a better look than the classic women's title was without a doubt a creative mishap. In terms of direct makeovers that WWE have made to establish the women's title, they once allowed Lay Cool to carry half of the classic women's title, each which looked totally ridiculous, and it made the title look like an utter joke. Additionally, when the WWE revamped the SmackDown and Raw women's titles in the summer of 2023, Asuka's new design received criticism. A new version of the title, simply named the women's title, would be similar to Roman Reigns' undisputed title, but with a white strap. Most of the negative feedback came from the fact that the centerpiece said Women's Undisputed Champion, which seemed like an odd choice as Asuka hasn't unified the women's title. Number 4, Undisputed title.
Stupid. Yeah. If it says a woman universal champion, I guess like it's better than undisputed.
Title. Sometimes in pro wrestling, the reception to a title design can change over time. In 2002, when WWE ditched having the big gold belt and the big eagle representing the Undisputed Championship, they introduced a new single title called the Undisputed title. This was a small gold world title that at first looked rather underwhelming, and fans at that time were disappointed to see the WWE go from two universally beloved designs to a design that looked rather basic. Gradually over time, the consensus on the design shifted. When wrestlers such as The Rock, Brock Lesnar and Kurt Angle had the belt over their shoulder, it looked incredible. It was a perfect belt for TV, and the title design is now often named as one of the more underrated title designs that WWE have ever come up with.
Alright.
Number 3,
We
the
got
Big
the
Gold Belt.
what?
It goes without saying that the Big Gold Belt is one of the most popular title designs in pro wrestling history. WWE used the title initially as the WCW World title, then in 2002 it became their permanent world title on Raw to counteract SmackDown, who had the WWE Championship. One of the reasons the title stands out is because the gold centerpiece is so noticeable and grand, and whenever a wrestler wears it over their shoulder or around their waist, they look incredible. Names such as Ric Flair, Booker T, Goldberg and Sting all looked like $1 million with the title, and it was truly the definitive world title. However, over time, WWE began to shrink the world title design down, and this was met with heavy criticism. The design became
that's what I was talking about earlier.
When wrestlers such as Mark Henry and Big Show won the prestigious gold, the title looked kind of ridiculous. Number 2, Intercontinental title. In 2009, WWE decided it was finally
Hold on, he said small?
wrestlers such as Mark Henry was met with heavy criticism. The design became smaller and smaller, and when wrestlers such as Mark Henry and Big Show won the prestigious
I don't know about
gold,
smaller and
the title looked
smaller,
kind of ridiculous.
The design, it looks slightly different than how it was
In 2009, WWE decided it was finally time to introduce a new design for the Intercontinental title. This wasn't a decision that fans were excited about, as the present design of the IC title was classic, popular, and more importantly looked amazing. The new design had a black strap with a gold
that design's some bull. I ain't gonna hold
it was hard
you.
to get used to, and most of the negative feedback came from fans questioning what the point of the redesign was. Whilst fans have somewhat managed to get used to the new design, the design is certainly missing something, and that's the color blue. Fan art showing the belt with blue added to the center is a vast improvement, and even the title on a white strap would make the title look 100% better. And number 1, WWE title. There have been a number of custom WWE titles over the years, and without a doubt the most infamous was John Cena's custom WWE title first introduced in
Yo, the fact they had that belt for that long for 8 years is it's kind of wild in hindsight, but it does make sense. Kids like this belt, you know, they're gonna spend money on it. The parents or whomever. I remember when I was younger, I liked that belt better than an undisputed belt. When I was playing like SmackDown vs. Raw 2007, they give you a choice: the spinner or the undisputed version. I always picked the spinner, but now being older, I like that undisputed belt way better than that spinner belt. Again, it was just like this was just, you know, kids' product. I'm pretty positive it was.
2005. At first, fans assumed that this was a basic gimmick belt and that the design would go away once Cena dropped the title. In fact, WWE continued to use the title for the next 8 years. The design was scolded by fans as outside of Cena, the title looked unusual on names such as Triple H, Randy Orton and Batista. The reason the design overstayed its welcome was ultimately money. The design was incredibly popular with the young demographic, and they weren't going to pass up selling replica versions of the spinner belt. WWE did eventually make a slight modification to the design, as it would fix the WWE logo in the center so it would stop spinning. This was a vast improvement, but even still it would have made more logical sense for WWE to introduce a new version of the title and keep the spinner title exclusively for Cena. But there you have it, folks. 10 of the biggest WWE title
because
downgrades.
I was always wondering.
Be sure to leave your comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more
like, did that
wrestling
belt spin anymore, or they just not want to spin it? Well, yeah, that's cool. Yeah, this was definitely a cool vid. Some of the stuff there was wild to me. They said the big gold belt and the undisputed belt. Though in both cases, we're talking about like in different for a selected time period. Like the undisputed belt was in the beginning, but they got used to it when bigger guys got the belt, like Brock Lesnar, Kurt Angle, etc. Same thing with the big gold belt, except he mentioned like the design would shift later down the line. Me, I don't know about smaller and smaller. It was just like I mentioned earlier with they had like rubies, it seemed like, or they were more noticeable. They had the red strap on the back. It just looked like, what the hell? Like, yeah, that was cool. I'm surprised they didn't add the 24/7 title. Like, I didn't hate it. The belt design was like whatever to me. Yeah, it was. I guess it was a fine list. I'm trying to think of any other title belt that should have been on this list, because I would have took it out the big gold belt, honestly. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Peace. I'm out.